Torin, we can't not be manipulated by something, can we? So you're saying we're always manipulated by something. Um, Not necessarily. I guess the idea of the sovereign self is control and awareness of everything you're consuming, of all things you're taking in, and choosing your manipulation. So like the way this whole thing works, the way that growth works out here, truly is, you can't decide to be of a higher frequency, but you can choose your programming. You can choose your programming. This is the awakened self. When you awaken to, oh, this food is bad for me, is gonna has all these heavy metals and bullshit ingredients and is all processed and GMOs and stuff. You can make the awakened choice and like the conscious choice. No, I'm gonna eat this more, perhaps more alkaline, right? You're going to use all this consumption in your own alchemy, right? Because you're awakened to the fact that all consumption creates who you are and the resonant frequency you're vibing on, right? So which thoughts you allow yourself to consume, which media you allow yourself to consume. So in essence, like, it's basically controlling what is manipulating you, because yes, at any point out here, you are being manipulated by your environment, the media you consume, the people and relationships you have, like what you surround yourself with in your immediate rooms and vicinity, which you allow in through every portal of the body, every sense, every sound, sight, through the mouth, right? The more and more you can reclaim control of this, right? By freeing yourself, by taking radical massive action and moving, right? Changing your environment, changing the people, changing the way you eat, the way you sleep. In essence, you can control the consumption, which programs you, right? So if we're constantly being manipulated, you can only change the outcome in the future. You can only change your consumption right now to affect the future outcome, the future timeline. So really, the alchemist is the alchemist of manipulation, because we are being manipulated, we are being influenced by all things at all times, because we constantly consume. Consciousness never shuts off. So upgrade your consumption, upgrade the music you listen to, upgrade the way you speak, the way you think, and that is the alchemy of life, baby. I guess that answers that question. Ah, shit. The Mayan Jin Abaddon's in the room, baby. How you feeling? Dead Chrono, hey man. If you So Hayden, if you are still dual in nature, then you have to overcome duality by manipulating the other side. The goal is to transcend duality and integrate the shadow. Yes, on many levels. That's a really abstract idea. How we could bring it back down here somehow. Dang, we got so many smart people in the chat. Blow me away. Oh, so overcome the duality by integrating the shadow. Yes, it's essentially about seeing what's unseen, right? My friends, it's funny because what's controlling us, what we think is like, this is the result of reality. Me speaking to you, this is my damn persona, right? This is the result of everything going on in the background to put me into this existence. And like this whole idea of manifestation and like law of attraction, it's literal BS. Real manifestation is the awareness, the the perception, and like, I guess, piercing into the deeper realms of the darkness to see what creates this shit, going all the way to the self. If we look at, let me, another way of saying that is, My friends, everything causing this reality is from the unseen. Everything that results in this manifestation, this is essentially the light, okay? We are existing in the realm of the light, the solidified light. The darkness is what creates it though. Okay? So like your shadow side is what creates all the resistance and action that you take in life. So really that's why we go so deep into the unconscious, into trying to find that like the true self, which is the unification of all those things you don't like, that you blocked out, that you have resistance to, all those traumas in your life, right? And going deeper and seeing like what is resulting in all this shit. It's really asking the question why over and over and over again and diving deeper. Like asking that question why is what's brought me to like such high levels of like just I guess vibration almost, and such that transcendence comes from asking that question why and being open to the answer. That's one key to expand on that. But my Matrix friends say I'm too abstract. I feel that, man. I feel that all the way. I feel like a lot of people who get to this channel or this level are kind of on this vibe. A lot of us are very abstract thinkers, and we're always up here. It's usually like the artist, the professor that's always lost in ideas and in his head, right? And really, this frequency I've been feeling lately, like, it's all about grounding this shit out. And everyone who's listening to this right now, really, this time is about taking all this up here and applying it and, like, exemplifying it. Because I feel like a lot of you guys have the truth. You have great ideas and are aspiring to high ideals, and we're all on the same wavelength here. But this time is truly about embodying that, embracing it, becoming the truth, not just thinking about all these abstract things. Because, man, that life is a hard one. It leads you to a tough place, man. Always being lost in ideas, constantly learning. There's a time and a place for that. It needs to be done. I feel like right now, with the tribe separated and everyone just out here kind of by themselves, dwelling in these higher vibrations and these higher frequencies, this is the result. But my friends, eventually this shit's gonna change. And if you think about the original man, the truly awakened man, like the Adam, for instance, how he would live, how he would act, and how he would think in the most divine state would be far different than all this abstraction and mental thought we have out here. There'd be so much more like this. It would be all the elements exemplified, right? The earth, the water, the air, the fire. And really, the Essene Gospels of Peace, where like Jesus or Yahushua or whatever you want to call him, breaks down the communions with each of the seven spirits, right? The communion with earth in the morning and tilling the fields, and the communion with the spirit of air, the communion with the angel of light. It's very profound stuff if you want to dive into that and balancing the life. Let's see what the chat's bringing on. Duality is the result of resistance. Yes. I like that, Mayan Janabadon. Caleb Smith, I'm going to get into that in a second. Always being alone and then being lost in the clouds and so far away from the physical. Because we all experience that, truly. Mayan Janabadon. Duality is the result of resistance. My friends, I love Taylor Budd's, like, his idea and philosophy on this idea of, like, pressure, because he comes from the body. He's very physically oriented and knowledgeable. And when it comes to the body and the breath, okay? To transcend duality in the body is essentially to transcend pressure, because you love pressure. It's what makes you know that you're here. Okay, this is me. But it's because you don't want to see that this is all you. To transcend this pressure and resistance in the body is to, in fact, become the breatharian, the ethereal breath, the ethereal breather, right? So as you transition to less dense and less dense and less dense foods, and you start breathing and permeating the fields around you, right? That breath in pressurizes and polarizes you, self and other, right? Creating that resistance. And then the breath out, you try to pierce those barriers, right? Have you guys ever heard the secret doctrine of Jesus? And it talks about this state where, in fact, you transcend breath. You no longer need to breathe because you are flowing and pumping prana equally. It is flowing. It is permeating all fields. So, in fact, you are existing as one with the ether. That whole idea is transcending duality in the physical body, right? Because we're just eating bullshit so that we feel the pressure in our stomach, so we feel full. But my friends, it's the empty. It's less is more out here, my friends. That whole idea is kind of cool. I do want to dive deeper into this idea of resistance and duality, and like, to transcend resistance is to transcend duality, and that's truly the alchemy of everything. Like, the alchemy of life is aligning all forces, the emotional force, the mental force, the spiritual force, so like your spiritual destiny, your path to glory, my friends, aka your sun sign, aligning your emotions and aspirations with that of God, aligning the physical body with that of your mission, right? You're a perfect manifestation of your purpose, my friends. You are a perfect manifestation of your purpose. The reason that you live in duality and have all this resistance and don't feel right in life is because you're at odds with the pure manifestation of your purpose. Align the forces within, align the forces mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally towards your purpose, your mission, your goal, like what you're here to do. And bang, the Ark of the Covenant is born. God's word and your word become one. You see how this works? Unfulfilled people have full bellies. Taylor Butt. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, man. My friends, the way is truly to become formless. If you've ever read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, I'm pretty sure it says it like a million times. Like, you must become formless. The next level of being beyond the physical is the formless, right? It's this, to transcend this rigid density, my friends. Anything that's formed light, for instance, right? Everything out here that's rigid in form is in the process of decay. Anything that is yet to be formed is in essence formless. When you separate yourself from the body, when you separate the earth from the fire, when you separate the self from the body, when you no longer identify with this thing, right? And you're breathing through your ethereal essence, which is formless, right? That's the ascension. That's the way to the higher realms, my friends. It is to become formless, to breathe and permeate all fields, as we talked about earlier. But yeah. Okay, we're about to dive into feeling ungrounded out here, as we're all separated. Mostly, a lot of people are alone out here. A lot of people are just in the realm of ideas and really struggling with the integration all the way down to the physical. And that's the journey, my friends. Enjoy this shit. Enjoy this shit. Um, but getting grounded is so important. I've been feeling like this huge enormous need to be grounded lately. Like, I've been trying to change all of my habits to, like, really establishing all of this into the physical, my friends. For most of us, a lot of our energy is trapped above. It's trapped in the mind, right? It's trapped on these higher planes. And your whole mission here, your entire mission here, is to take this abundance of spiritual force, this abundance of mental energy, this abundance of truth, and become a pillar, right? Like the lightning pole that the lightning can strike and funnel that shit straight into the earth. You are a portal for a new world, essentially. And it's to exemplify that in the physical, and ways to do this. The first one is really to cut back on information, on all your consumption of information, in terms of movies, in terms of especially like YouTube videos and knowledge and all this stuff. Cut back on it, and really ground out. Like, I have this one like private playlist, and it's called it's my daily watch, right? And it's just like, okay, I'm gonna listen to this audiobook today and like for this next week, and really to study philosophies that are really grounded into the now, right? This is why I've been reading the book of the samurai, right? Seneca in Stoicism is a huge help, my friends. Although it throws a fuck ton at you, go on YouTube and look up like Seneca, Letters from a Stoic audiobook, right? And each chapter is one letter that Seneca, this wise Stoic fucking master of ancient Rome, was writing to his student, his apprentice, which is you, okay? He's writing these letters to you, and they're profound in every way. Like that idea I just gave you, less information is one of those letters. And really, if you can take it in step, like don't listen to the whole entire freaking audiobook in one car ride like I did because it's so good, but take it in like, okay, this letter number 16, like letting go of, useless fears. I'm going to listen to this and really apply it today. And let's listen to each letter is profound. And if you can really, I know a lot of us suffer from like all this information and then lack of application. And really it's to find something you vibe with and try it step by step. Furthermore, other really good resources to like try to get more grounded. I've been listening to this dude, Connor Moore, and his whole philosophy on living the fuck out of life. And I fucking love it. I love it. This dude is like a conscious individual, but he's also like physically abundant, and he's killing it. And like I found him through JP Sears, and he wrote this new book on it's called Own the Day. Go get this book, Own the Day. And my friends, that is a master blueprint, more than I could give you, about really attacking the physical, because like the essence of life is here in the now, in the fucking physical. It's in the relationships. It's in what you do. If you see it on the left side of my screen right here, like like, that's me out in Hawaii, just climbing, just having so much fun. And like, yeah, we're not all in incredible places like that, me included, but it's really to like aspire to be there, aspire to have that. Furthermore, like upgrade your life in the now, live the fuck out of life, stop living up here in your mind and get down here, make moves, take action, be bold. Like, that's what it's all about. That's how you get grounded. And having friends and stuff really helps, like having people that you can really vibe with and go, okay man, let's go have a freaking bonfire and sing campfire songs and drink booze and like, get out of the self-righteousness, like make fun of yourself, like go back into the world, baby, get back in here and like have fun, live the fuck out of life. That's what's really been coming to me lately, and I've been trying. It's really hard. I'm in a bad situation in terms of relationships out here. Just like I got no one. I tried really hard, but like tomorrow morning, I'm gonna wake up early and I'm gonna drive down to Sedona and I'm just gonna go for a gnarly fucking hike, and just like, just get back here, start having fun. That's really the way to get grounded. Look up that book, Own the Day, and also check out Seneca, Letters from a Stoic. Man, those two philosophies, if you can like cut out all bullshit streams of media and information and focus and just apply one thing, right? Just marginal gains in those areas, bang. Physical life will be, the grounded life is much more thrilling. Stoicism is gnosis, my friends. True that. Stoicism is the way to live down here to glorify the soul. Stoicism is essentially the divinity incarnated, and it was written in a time in like a dark age. And like right now, my friends, like taking the ideas of Seneca, taking the ideas of Lao Tzu, although that's a more airy philosophy too, but taking these ideas and applying them, my friends, you have no idea how high we can reach right now. My friends, the doors are open, the portals are here, the vibrational shifts have occurred, right? If you can walk and establish that fixed flame, you have no idea the levels that could be reached right now. And it's really about balancing the freaking poles, balancing the mind and the body, my friends, balancing the above and below, and becoming the vessel in between. That's the essence of it. Hell yeah, Hayden. I'm making moves to get out to Boise. I'm going to be out there on Sunday. About to be climbing, about to be... My friends, I really encourage you to make some drastic moves right now. Just make moves. All things spirit, I'm just gonna miss you. I'm leaving. I've been in Sedona for a long time. Dang. Oh, Harmony. Actually, Alexandra Hafner, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Thanks a million. The word information, my friends. Information. Inform, like, Asian has many different meanings, but it usually means like a process or animated. But inform, my friends, information, it must be broken down, digested, to taken out of form and reintegrated into intelligence. Intelligence is the creative use of knowledge. Intelligence is the creative, like, taking from this vast well of information I hold, right? But breaking down the information and connecting all these nodes back to the point. You see, a lot of people can regurgitate fucking information. That's almost everybody. I don't hear many people being creative in the use and application of knowledge. This is a skill that must be acquired. And like true creativity in that, like very, very, very few possess. Most everyone out here is just regurgitators. But your creative use of knowledge and information, essentially breaking down everything you know into the etheric, but having the principles, the foundations of truth and knowledge, the gnosis. then you take all of that and it's just like constant flow, baby. Torn's Garden, yes. Projecting the ideas out of is the masculine, and taking it from the astral is the feminine. True that. I was actually just reading a hermetic document from Hermes, and it was talking about the imagination as actually feminine, and the will as masculine. And Hermes holds that the correct application of the imagination and will is the establishment of like the divine masculine or the divine feminine. And really, it's that will that I feel this wavelength really needs to start establishing, because it's balancing the will and the imagination. When you're always lost up here in knowledge and information and thoughts and stuff, it's a very feminine energy. And that's why this whole spiritual community and whole spiritual like narrative out here is so taken over by this warped feminine energy, without any will, without any like grounding, without any like without real truth. It's fake, it's false, it's gonna die. It's a combination of the imagination and the will. So so balancing those, right? if you're anything like me, you're always right, like you're thinking about ideas and you get inspired by the mind, and you get inspired to create something, but then you lack the will to push through and proceed with that. And right now, like I'm really committed to like if I commit to do something today, if I have that intention, I establish it, and like no matter what my mind rationalizes as I should do this instead, or I should actually go do this, I'm gonna fucking do it, like no matter what, because I need to get my will back. um Most people are on the other side of the gate. They never they never actually use the imagination, nor act on it. But yeah, that combination of will, the divine masculine, and imagination, the divine feminine, is key. And your point here is the speaking is the projection of the divine masculine, and taking it from the astral, which is essentially what the mind does in one function, is the feminine. And I'm about to dive in on that for a second, because in the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiastes, the keys or whatever, it's this removed book from the Bible in the Apocrypha, right? And this is the book of wisdom, along with Solomon's book of wisdom. These things have been removed because they don't want the people getting the gnosis. But in the book of Sirach, which is essentially, I'm pretty sure, like the child of Jesus, but who gives a fuck about that shit? In that book, it says that wisdom is recognized, that wisdom is actually comes through speech. And I was thinking about this, and this is so true. Until I started speaking, like making YouTube videos, and like talking and actually connecting to people on this frequency, so I could continue to speak, continue to like to teach, or whatever we do here. That's like really when a lot of knowledge became so solidified, and I realized that if you only think, or like casually write about these thoughts that you have about, oh, like the gnosis or anything rolling through, it's never solidified until you speaking is the act of like creating gnosis or wisdom. It's through speech that these things occur. And that's why like debate, teaching is so powerful, because it solidifies knowledge into the next level of knowledge, right? Knowledge to gnosis, knowledge to wisdom, and it's through speech. And what you just said about the divine masculine actually being the projection or the speaking part is so true, because um in a lot of ways I feel like my life is dominated by too much yin, like too much uh into like the meditation, into the feeling, into the thoughts and imagination. I'm always thinking and writing, and like, and just like I'm very much too much dominated by yin, not enough masculine yang, not enough like just will and establishment and foundation, right? And until I start speaking. But when I start speaking, like when I flip on a video, that moment in the day, that moment in the grand scheme of things, is when I truly like hit that step. And now I'm realizing, because of what you just said, is that speech is that action of that divine masculine energy taking from the yin behind you. So yeah, that combination of thought and speech is really important, and that's why like connecting to other people on the frequency is so powerful. Speech is so powerful, my friends. Also, freestyle rapping, my friends. If you don't really have anybody to speak to, start freestyle rapping. I'm so surprised about the gnosis that flows out of me sometimes. Torrent. True that, Hayden. Ah, the amount of enslavement out here is ridiculous. all things, in all ideas, in all ideologies. It's so crazy. Like, I can't even like mention or reference a fucking religion without people polarized against it in some way. Either like all for it, or like, nah, they do this shit, they think about this, they believe in this. Guys, like, this is like, it makes me just boil up. Like, I'm so fucking done with it. And people on this live stream be like, oh, that's unspiritual, you fucking polarized fucking. Like, nah, that's my shadow coming out, motherfucker. Yo, this world is polarized against everything, whether it's the blue and the red, whether it's, the left and the right, whether it's Hinduism. Like, someone just posted, like, Hinduism, like, they're killing all these animals, all religions fucking suck. I'm like, you are retarded. My friends, all the religions are a different lens to the same fucking thing, but they've been bastardized. They've been taken down from the high places. Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, Christianity, Judaism, all the fucking religions once started out pure. Okay? They're so bastardized. They remove the why and take the last thread of traditions, right? And all these brainless motherfuckers out here hold on to tradition. Oh, you gotta pray to the West and wear the fucking yarmulke and go to church every Sunday if you want God to love you. I'm just like, yo, motherfucker, I talk to God. Like, yo, he speaks through me. Like, nah, it's about seeing the reason behind those things. It's about seeing why, right? Why did they hold that as sacred? Why does that tradition exist? What is the spiritual or metaphysical idea behind it? I can't understand why people are so polarized to everything. They react to every reference that they hear. And this is why my channel will never be very big. Because the way I speak, if people are just polarized and lost in the mind and tied in knots, I'm going to trigger them in about 1,000 different ways. My friends, this world is polarized against everything. Don't be polarized. Look at it and reason out the metaphysical, like, dynamic behind it. The Mayan Jin Abaddon. You've definitely brought out some of my shadow side watching some of your videos, man. You definitely helped me integrate a little bit more. Talk about the monad. Okay. All things spirit. I'm just going to reference the Carl Jung idea on the monad real quick. And the monad is essentially all of creation, right? Like, the monad, the calendar, the circle with all the different symbols and everything inside of it. It's essentially the expression of creation, okay? And you are a fracture, a piece of the monad. You see, the creator, God, the essence of all, the supreme spirit, couldn't incarnate himself straight into the density, the physical, the darkness, the lack, the lack plane, right? He can't just, boom, God's here. Nah. He sends down sparks, shards of himself, fractures of the divine light into the density, into the lowest realms, right? And this is the soul. And the soul is equipped with mind. We could get into hermetics on this, but essentially, in order for the creator to incarnate here, the God avatar must be established. This is the awakening of the monad. This is the differentiation and individuation of self, as Carl Jung likes to call it, right? Because essentially the monad couldn't be born straight away into density, right? It had to be born and it had to find itself. This is the knowledge of self. This is the eternal return to the self, my friends. And this is through differentiation, because you can only know yourself by seeing what you're not. You can only know yourself through this path of individuation and untangling your mind from all systems and programming out here. Essentially, the path to, like, the monad, the idea of the monad, the creator speaking through you, is expressed in all religions. It is the God avatar in Hinduism, right? It is the Melchizedek in Judaism. It's the It's when you and the God's words, the Ark of the Covenant essentially is a monad, right? It's the self in Carl Jung's psychology. And this awakens through integration with the darkness, your dark side, deprogramming your mind from all things you're not. Okay? Because we come in here and we take on all this bullshit, all this all this information and ideas because we're taking, okay, this is what my parents did, this is what the pastor told me, this is what school told me, and like we built this image, this appearance, this being based on seeking approval and bullshit ideas that are unconnected and scattered. It is essentially wiping the slate clear, clearing the memory card, restoring your computer, right? And upgrading the OS, the operating system, to the self. And when you know thyself truly, when you fall into the true knowledge of self, like the true gnosis, knowledge of God is what saves you. Hermes said that. Like it's the knowledge, the true knowledge of self, and that's like the monad awakening essentially. The individuation and like complete affirmation of your ego, of your identity, separating from all the bullshit and becoming who you are. And this gets very, very esoteric. We don't need to get into all of that, but yeah, that's a huge idea around the monad incarnated. But yo, everyone, hit that like button. Let's blast this thing out here. But hold on, let me check the comments, the chat real quick. See what we're about to dive into. What is my favorite symbol? Um, Yo, I love this symbol right here. I like this symbol a lot. Hold on. No, I didn't draw very well. I don't know what it's called. Um, it's basically like a star with a ring, and it's separated by the ring. I don't know, and it's only a 3-pointed star. I don't know why I did 5, but yeah. Okay, my friends, you got something else we want to dive into here? Hey, Electric Tau, how you feeling, man? Colors are archetypes. Yes. This whole idea with like frequencies, archetypes, chakras, colors, the harmonics of sound, this whole idea is kind of separated from like the essence of it, which is kind of embodied in the archetype, because the archetype is the color, it is the planet, it is the sound, it is the frequency, it is the, all those different things are actually just describing one archetype or one form, right, that exists at many different planes in the reality, if that makes sense. Essentially, and then the archetypes, getting back to Carl Jung for a quick second here. I don't want to dive into Carl Jung too much because it gets very esoteric really quickly. But in Carl Jung's mind, we are in fact ruled by archetypes, right? Consciously and unconsciously. And these archetypes are in fact gods of the ancient books. And Carl Jung's whole like psychological teaching is in fact rooted in deep mystery teachings. And a lot of it is like psychologized and shit, but really he was like trying to express the ancient symbolism, the ancient knowledge of the frequencies, of the archons of the archetypes, right? And like, yo, a lot of people out here, this might get too deep right here, but a lot of people out here that are all in the astrology and all this stuff, like, yeah, astrology is right and it's true and stuff, but you gotta realize that the astrology, the planets, that whole system up there is actually in fact set up to enslave you to destiny. That's just a fact. Go read Hermetics on that. But like these archons, the archetypes, which is essentially an arc of light in different densities, the astrological thing is a system to enslave you to the archons, the archetypes, the principalities, the rulers. And until you can, master the hermetic laws of vibration and frequency and transmute that shit, you're just ruled by destiny and fate and the archetypes that are flowing through you in the astral light. But that got really deep for a quick second there. Let's get off that one. Yes, Torrent, it's all fractals, baby. It's all fractals. That's a huge topic I'm not trying to dive into right now. All things spirit, why I love bonfires. That just reminds me of this conversation I had with Hayden. And he was telling me about, the ancient practice of gazing at the fire, at the firelight, and how that actually like burns away and unwinds the mind. And I'm a fire sign, and I'm a fire plus air. So like I'm just like this is a constant hurricane, honestly. And yeah, I actually just got some candles and stuff to reintegrate that when I was a kid, I would used to sit by the fire almost every night. And it's so calming, it's so relaxing watching that flame flicker. And he was talking about how like the shamanic or ancient tradition of staring into the fire is so primal, is so ingrained into our like essential being, our DNA or our light codes or whatever you want to call it. Staring at the fire, there's something profound about that shit. I don't know if you guys agree, but he put me onto that, and I was reflecting. I'm like, yep. So Torrance Garden, you were asking about the astrology and how do you ascend. So essentially, this whole entire doctrine and ideas and like things I'm touching on right here come from um this all comes from the Book of the Dead, ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, which for some reason I can decode. I don't know how. Just like looking at them long enough and watching a few things. But my friends, essentially everyone who has decoded ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics hasn't been an occultist or into the esoteric. But all the hieroglyphics, each of those images have a whole story behind them, have so much knowledge, right? And they translate like a line of hieroglyphics for a line of words. I'm just like, what the fuck? This ain't right. This ain't right. And then you start realizing that the Bible and all these like Judaic texts come from the original hieroglyphics, right? And then you start realizing that each chapter in the Bible has a whole entire huge story about it, right? And all these hieroglyphics keep referring to, it's actually all written in the language of stars, astrology, and ethereal energy. It is written in the language of energy work and the stars. And why the stars are so important, it is because it is about essentially embodying your stars, like your charts, and then transmuting that. And this is combining the Book of the Dead with ancient hermetics. And the hermetic like philosophy is essentially about the knowledge of the vibrations of the astral light. The astral light, which is a pervasive field, an ocean of energy in which we exist in, right? And the different principalities, the different rulers of the astral light, right? So you were born at a certain spot in this astrological configuration, which is essentially a certain hue, because it creates all these different colors, and the astral light is warped, it's bent in a certain way, and that goes into your energy. And essentially, it is about discovering your essence of energy and how that is interacting with things out here, and then becoming sovereign, right? Transmuting external forces into internal forces. Like, it's about transmuting death, like this. If you're controlled by the astrology, you're controlled by destiny, you're a slave to fate. But yeah, that's the hermetic philosophy. Read the Divine Pymander, or read the the Hermetic Arcanum, learn about the fetters of darkness. Like, yo, these texts, it's not all bright and fucking flowery. Yo, this is paradise. Like, nah, like, this is a test. Welcome to Earth, baby. like the true ancient text, like the Gnostic teachings, the Hermetic teachings, the Book of the Dead teachings. The Book of the Dead, by the way, is actually the book of awakening divinity within. But they call it the Book of the Dead because it's the book of, the crucifixion of self, the twice born. But before we go too deep, my friends, all these teachings, the Hermetic, the Gnostic, the ancient Egyptians, they weren't all light and flowery. Nah, like, yo, there is an extreme purpose for your soul here. It is in this. Yes, it's a game. Yeah, it's a game, but it's like an important game. Like, there's a mission to accomplish here, and it is all important. And like, that's what really needs to get through a lot of our heads and a lot of the spiritual community out here. Like, yo, this shit it's not. But at the same time, like, if you tell someone, like, yo, this is super serious, it's important, then they get all tight and rigid. Like, nah, it's about being 100%, giving 100%, being 100% value, and being, like, just committed. I don't really know. It's a hard thing to get into. And a lot of this stuff gets too deep, honestly, for this, like, lighthearted chat. But essentially, like, yo, there is a grand mission out here. There is something to do. Travis, the focus of this live chat is the awakening of self. No, the focus of the live chat is gauging the wavelengths that most people are thinking on, and then expressing that outwardly. Awakening G, what's up, G? Electric Tau, yes. Thank you for always bringing me back to, like, the truth of things. And this whole idea of bondage, or, like, not bondage, marriage. You gotta marry the bondage. Like, this, a marriage, this idea of amor, this idea of the marriage, the unification of the anima and animus, the unification of the divine feminine and divine masculine, is symbolized in the lotus flower, in the seventh chakra, in the awakened kundalini, the Shakti awakening. That marriage is the path to eternal life. The marriage of the self, like the marriage of both sides of the self, my friends. And that's a much brighter way of looking at things out here. That is the path. That is the purpose. All things spirit, I feel that. Enlightenment is a destructive process. True that. Guys, if you heard anything I said this whole live stream, listen to this one. Enlightenment is the destruction of the false self. Enlightenment is not a path of adding anything. Enlightenment is the path of destroying everything. It is the path from being formed and rigid and dense and solidified, because I am this. I am blah, 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 blah. I know blah, blah, blah. It is the path of destruction of all identities, of all beliefs, of all that you thought you were, right? So that you can flower. Non-being is the greatest feeling in existence. Something like that from the Tao Te Ching. Yes, enlightenment is destruction, right? Enlightenment is a path of destroying that whole false self. It's truly the theme of the Into the Wild. I like that whole idea. Are we all God? Yes and no. I really don't like that whole New Age teaching, like, I'm God, you're God. I actually, like, Yes, God is that spark that's powering you. But, like, yes, we're all images and reflections of God, and truly in unity, like that is God's voice. That is the image of God. But you yourself, yes, you can become God. And in fact, in most of the teachings, like man has the potential to become more than God because you are a fracture. You are the son of God. You are the son. Okay. But it is awakening the monad within you, like we talked about earlier. Like, yo, I don't know. I don't want to go too deep into this because it gets kind of dark in one aspect and it gets too light in the other aspect, and I just don't want to touch on this right now. Let's go too deep. Uh-uh. You know, when I get too deep, yeah, nah. Dang. That was, we've gotten into it so far. Let's see if I have anything else for you. Let me know if you have any last minute thoughts, questions. We could go for another 30 minutes, but that was good so far. Mahesh, yes, humble thyself, my friends. Like that's something I eternally need to work on, and we all do. Ah, to see, yeah, that's why I love just get like the acquisition of perspective is so profound out here, my friends. The acquisition of experience that shows you your place. Like there's nothing grander. There's nothing grander than knowing your place. Than knowing your place. That's what we all want. We just all want to know our place. And like I know I like personally I usually come off as like so overbearing and so yang and so like this is it, like I'm fucking God, like no, at the same time like yo, I'm just trying to speak my truth, right? And to speak your truth is truly an argument, but um like I don't see myself as anything different than anything you could be. I have such I guess like compassion and empathy for the person. And one thing, it is very difficult to bring that out when you're just speaking. I'm speaking to a computer by myself right now, getting feedback. But yeah, humbleness is the key, my friends. Humbleness is the key, truly. I'm pretty sure in the Bible it refers to the Son of Man and like the Ark of the Covenant being reborn, like after he humbles himself, after yeah, he basically knows his place in the world. And to know your place in the world, you can't be arrogant or overbearing or cocky because you know your damn place in the world. Like, you know something is above you. I guess that's like the knowledge of God part. The knowledge of self is like knowing where you are and knowing how you are a part of this thing, right? And how they are a part of this thing. And how the Supreme Spirit is fueling this thing, right? And like, yeah, in the Gnostic text, when it talks about the archons and claiming that he is the most high and that he is God, like that he is the most powerful being out here, like that is the embodiment of a darkened ego, essentially. Dang, we've gotten pretty deep into the nature and essence of God and self. I did not plan this live stream to go that way. I do appreciate all you guys watching, and again, love all you guys. I'll see you guys next time. I will check out the last few chats here as I was making my way down. See what's happening. Maybe drop a few more words on here. But I do appreciate all you guys, and I enjoy these live chats. I enjoy just like gauging and speaking on anything and everything. Definitely just opens up the air in my mind and really gets me down here. And this is what I feel like I should be doing. So I started doing it, and I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know how it went. Let me know what I could do better. But yeah, definitely enjoyed this. Love all you guys. Let's engage the last. Yes, my friends, you are powerful beyond belief. You are worthy and you are so enough. And until you can realize that, like, I realize, like, I don't need to be all stressed out and strung out or, like, to be on some next level bullshit to get on a live stream. Nah, like, I'm just enough. It's all within me, baby. You just gotta be centered at source, the 0 point. Be within. Be grounded in truth and who you are. You are so enough. Like, yo, you wanna really transcend everything out here? Let go. You already got it. You got it in the fucking bag. The path's already been walked. You just gotta open your eyes to it, baby. Realization is creation. Like, you're enough. You're already fucking worthy. You just gotta prove that to yourself.